So let's look more closely at the noradrenergic synapse, right? This is a neuron whose primary neurotransmitter is going to be norepinephrine or noradrenaline, right? And so this is showing you again on this image, an axon terminal, a noradrenergic axon terminal, presynaptic terminal, and you'll see there is, expressed genes that code for the three synthesizing enzymes that will take tyrosine, convert it to L-DOPA, take the L-DOPA and convert it to dopamine, and then take the dopamine and convert it into norepinephrine. So that's the synthesis pathway, that relies on the expression of these, three genes for synthesizing enzymes. Happens down here at the axon terminal, and then you've now got norepinephrine at your axon terminal. So the next step, of course, after synthesis is the storage, right? So it's got to get inside the vesicles, here at the axon terminals, and so what you need, of course, is a vesicular transporter, right? You're gonna want to pack that norepinephrine inside that vesicle. So you got to fight that concentration gradient force. You're going to need to input energy, right, in the form of ATP. You got to break the bond in ATP and make it ADP, and transfer that chemical energy into the kinetic transport, basically, of norepinephrine across the vesicular membrane inside the vesicle, so it can be stored for later release, right? And remember that the monoamines, all the monoamines, we're talking dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, have the same vesicular transporter. It's called a monoamine, vesicular transporter, and it doesn't care if it's dopamine, norepinephrine, or serotonin that's present. It'll pack whatever's at the axon terminal inside the vesicles. Of course, in a noradrenergic neuron, the primary neurotransmitter is norepinephrine, so that's what it's going to pack inside the vesicle. Then you're going to get the arrival of an action potential, the release of norepinephrine into the synaptic cleft. It'll act at its various receptor targets, and then it will be reuptaken, the same way dopamine was reuptaken, through a selective norepinephrine reuptake transporter. So this machine that's embedded in the presynaptic terminal membrane, right, is actually selective for norepinephrine. It's not gonna pull up dopamine or serotonin. It's only selective for norepinephrine. It's a special, kind of noradrenergic neuron, based, transporter. And then, once the norepinephrine has been reuptaken from the cleft inside the axon terminal, well, then it's going to encounter a degradative enzyme. And this enzyme, again, is much like the vesicular transporter, too, right? It doesn't care if it's dopamine, norepinephrine, or serotonin that it encounters. It will degrade any of the monoamines. It's called monoamine oxidase. And in a noradrenergic neuron, where a selective reuptake transporter for norepinephrine just pulled the released neurotransmitter out of the synaptic cleft, MAL will gladly grab on to norepinephrine and degrade it.